Hello BookTube, my name is Adrian and welcome to my winter biannual Bibliothon vlog. So it is currently the morning of the first day of the readathon, which is January 12th. My husband is currently gone. He is helping my sister move into her new apartment. I normally would go with them, but I am home with kids, and the reason I'm the one home with the kids is because I've been extremely accident prone and I messed up my wrist pretty good about a month ago, and it's still bad, and occasionally it gets really bad, so they don't want me to risk messing it up again. Also, the weather has been very snowy. There's probably about 2 or 3 inches of snow on the ground outside right now, and so it's not super safe. So I stayed home with the kids for the day whilst he helps my sister move in. They are there, they're getting everything moved into her apartment. Things are going well, nobody's gotten hurt, nobody's ended up in an accident, things are going well, but I am about to make lunch for my kids, and so I wanted to give you guys an update and start off this vlog. So, right off the bat, we're going to go ahead and talk about the fact that I'm changing my TBR already. I'm changing one thing on my TBR. Just one. And that is that I realized in watching my TBR video back that Anyway, in watching my TBR back, I realized that I kind of screwed up one of the challenges. The most and least challenge, I realized I kind of messed it up, and so I am picking a different book. Instead, I am going to, I Hate Everyone But You, I'm going to read Anne of Windy Poplars by L.M. Montgomery. I am reading this book via audiobook because this fits that challenge a little bit better. Basically, the most least challenge is you read your most favorite format in your least favorite genre, or vice versa. In this case, I am listening to this book as an audiobook, which is my favorite format, and this is a classic, which is my least favorite format. Granted, I do tend to like the Anne of Windy Poplars books, so it might be cheating a little bit, but this is what I'm going with. So I'm going to start listening to this while I make the kids some lunch, and then I will check back with you guys when I have some reading done. Hey guys, it is now Sunday, so I figured I'd go ahead and give you guys an update about my reading yesterday because we just got home from church and I haven't read anything yet today, so it's kind of a perfect time to give you guys an update over what all I read yesterday. So, what all I read yesterday, I had told you that I was going to go ahead and start reading Anne of Windy Poplars. This was my pick for the most and least favorite challenge, and I am a pretty good chunk of the way into this. I ended up reading basically to the second half. The entire first half of this book, or the first section of this book, which is about 120 pages. So I did pretty good. I am now on year 2, the second year of this book. So, and yes, my bookmark is the TARDIS. Yeah, so I ended up reading 120 pages of this, which is not too shabby. And then when I kind of got bogged down by the classic language, I decided to go ahead and switch this up, and I stopped reading this for a while and picked up instead Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. This was my pick for a book that you don't like the cover of, and I have read 45 pages of this, so I'm not very far into this at all. This book is a lot slower, it seems like it's taking me a lot longer to get through this one. I don't know if it's slower because I'm taking longer to, if it just feels slower, or if it's slower because the audiobook is slower. I don't know, but either way, this is the book I'm reading for that. And yeah, so I read quite a bit yesterday between these 2 books, and so now I am going to settle in for the afternoon. I'm probably going to watch some YouTube videos for a little while, and then once I feel like I've maxed myself out on YouTube for the day, I'm going to go ahead and read. I will probably go ahead and pick up Anne of Windy Poplars because I'm actually really enjoying this. I have a tendency to like the Anne of Green Gables books, and I am liking this more than I thought I would, because I kind of went into this with fairly low expectations because I'd heard a lot of people who like the Anne books say this is their least favorite. And yes, I'm not a huge fan of this one because it's kind of boring. I still do like it because Anne's just funny. So yeah, I'm going to probably pick this up as soon as I decide to sit down to read. And so when I do that, or when I have some reading done, I will let you guys know. Hey guys, so I figured I'd go ahead and give you guys another update on my reading because it has been quite a while. I don't think I've updated you guys yet today. You did probably see a little clip where I showed you I went to get my nails done. Anyway, I went to get my nails done so they are nice and fresh. But I figured I'd go ahead and give you guys a reading update because I've done a lot of reading today. So first off, last night I read to like page 260 of Vampire Academy, and then this morning I ended up finishing reading this. I finished reading this. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I did actually enjoy it a lot more than I thought I was. I expected to not love this book as much as I did the first time I read it because it's been such a long time since I read it, but I really did like it. So this was my first book finished for this readathon. And then after I finished that, I continued reading more of Anne of Windy Poplars. This book, I don't know where I am in it yet. I haven't looked to see where I am in the physical book recently, but I am farther than that. I'll have to look and see later. Actually, let me do that right now. Hold on. Okay, so I am now on page 173 of Anne of Windy Poplars. This book, I am enjoying it. It's interesting because it is told mostly in letters, and sometimes it switches out of letters. But it's good. It's another Anne of Green Gables book, so I am really enjoying this, even though it is a classic, which is one of my least favorite genres. But I am enjoying it. I still have a little ways to go, so maybe I will finish this tonight, and maybe I won't. Maybe I'll finish it first thing in the morning. But this is what I'm currently focusing all my attention on reading, is this book. Once I finish this book, I think I'm going to probably start reading Pivot Point, or listening, because I feel like that's one that I could get through pretty quickly, and I'm wanting to kind of go through a book kind of fast. So that is my plan for reading. As for what I'm doing right now, I am currently sitting at my desk. I am, see if you can see, watching some YouTube. I'm watching Lauren Z-Side's channel. I'm watching some of her old videos, and I also have some wine. So I am just gonna settle down for the night and watch some YouTube, drink some wine, and just hang out. So whenever I decide I've had enough of YouTube, I'll probably read some more of Anne, and then see how far I get, and I will update you guys in the morning. Good morning, guys. So we are out and about. We're running errands this morning. We ended up stopping at my mom's office again today because my son found a toy he got out of the gumball machine on Sunday in his car seat and wanted to show her. So we had to go and stop there. But now we are on our way to pick up our checks for this cycle. And so we went ahead. So we're on our way to do that, and then after that we're gonna run to the bank, and then we're gonna go get drinks. So we are going out and about to do all that stuff, and then once we're done with all of that, we're headed home. But I wanted to give you guys an update on my reading because I've done quite a bit of it. Last night I read all but 2 chapters of Anne of Windy Poplars, and this morning I finished that off before we left the house for errands, and I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It was super cute. Classics I don't think are ever going to fully get a 5-star out of me just because they're so hard for me to read, but I really did enjoy it. We're out and about doing errands, and so while we're out and about doing errands, I am starting another one of my audiobooks, and so this morning I decided to go ahead and start listening to Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I think that's her name. So yeah, I am not very far into this, maybe 2 chapters into this, maybe not even a full 2 chapters into this, but I am enjoying it. So that is what we are doing today. So I'm going to go ahead and go, and I'll check back in with you guys when I have reading done. Bye!
It wasn't near as bad as I remember.
What's that? Hey guys, so it is extremely late in the evening on, what is today? The 17th. I figured I'd go ahead and give you guys an update because I don't really remember what the last thing I told you guys was. So, I'm just going to go ahead and go over everything, and we will see what stays in the video and what doesn't, because I'll just edit out the stuff that I already told you about. So I don't think I filmed any clips for you guys yesterday, but that's because I really didn't do any reading yesterday. I did very, very little, which I will tell you about here in a second once I get my GoodReads to load. So as for reading, I don't think I told you guys that I ended up finishing reading Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I ended up giving Birthday Girl 3.5 out of 5 stars. I was actually pleasantly surprised by this book. This book was not quite what I thought it was about. I thought it was going to be about a girl who ends up forming a relationship with her best friend's dad, and it actually ended up being a girl who formed a relationship with her boyfriend's dad after they had broken up. That I actually liked this book better than I thought it was. It was also a lot more sex heavy than I expected, which is not inherently a bad thing. It was just surprising when all of a sudden it was way more detailed than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I gave that 3.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't my favorite thing I've ever read, but it was still pretty good. The other thing, yesterday I started reading 7 Days of You by Cecilia Venice. I got to page 22 in this, so not very far at all. I'm just going that much through, not very far at all. So I'm going to actually continue reading this here in a minute when I finish filming this clip and telling you about what's been going on. So this is what I'm going to continue reading here in a minute. The other thing that I've been reading today, I started and finished reading Lily's Crossing by Patricia Riley Gift. This was the book for the challenge, the book that first got you into reading. I ended up giving this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. 0.5 of that is mainly just for the nostalgia factor, because this book was so very, I mean, it was nostalgic. I loved reading this again just because it's been years upon years upon years since I read this. And so I'm really glad I went back and reread it. And what was really cool about this is I listened to the audiobook as I read this, because I wanted to go ahead and read it the same kind of way I did when I read it the first time, which I believe I talked about this in my TBR. But the way that I read this book the first time was my mom went to the library, got me the book and also the audiobook, and we would sit down with the physical book, and as the audiobook was playing, we would follow along with my finger and track where everything was as we were reading. And so I decided that that was how I was going to go through and read this book again, and it was a very cool experience to do that and kind of like go back to that kind of time when I was basically reteaching myself to read. So that was cool. And then it was extra cool because at the end of the audiobook for this, there was a little snippet where the individual who reads the Harry Potter audiobooks, I can't remember his name now, he talked about audiobooks and why they're important. So he was kind of talking to the parents of the kids who were listening to this, because this is technically a children's book. He was talking about how audiobooks are not just for entertainment. They can help kids build vocabulary and can instill in them a lifelong love of reading. And it was just cool to hear that at the end of the audiobook for this book, because that is what the audiobook of this book did for me as a kid. It absolutely sparked my love of reading, and also I have a booktube channel now, and I own over 300 books, and I've read most of them, and I'm definitely an avid reader, and I love it, and it's because of audiobooks that I am that way. Without them, I don't think I would read at all. So yeah, that was just a really cool thing at the end of this audiobook. So I'm gonna put that down now. The other thing, that was all that I have read so far, but I did want to tell you guys about the clip that you saw right before this one. You saw a clip of me sitting on the couch with my son, and he had a rag to the back of his head. I realized that might be confusing if I left it in without any context, so this is the context. My son has had a rough day. We went out and got the kids their flu shots today. Which I realize is kind of late in the game to be getting flu shots, but they've never had them before, so I wanted to go ahead and do it now when they were already getting some school shots, some like preschool vaccinations. So I figured we'd just go ahead and do the flu shots at the same time. That way in the future they just need to get 1 shot instead of 2, because when they first have the flu shot, if you don't know, they have to get it twice. They have to get an initial one and then a booster a month later. So I figured we were just going to go ahead and get it all done while we were already doing vaccinations. So that all being said, he had a shot today and he was not happy. So he was kind of already upset about that and not super in a good mood. And then he was playing on the couch and he tripped running along the couch, fell off the couch and bashed his head, the back of his head on the metal leg of our coffee table. We have a very pretty coffee table. I will insert a video over the top of like what our coffee table looks like over the top of this so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But he bashed his head on the metal part of that, and he had a huge welt on the back of his head. It was probably about 2 inches in diameter, like all the way around, and kind of puff. I think it was definitely a big goose egg. And then right across the middle of that goose egg, it was split. It was not split deep enough that he needed stitches. We didn't take him to the ER or anything, but like you couldn't see, like it wasn't an open wound. Like it was just very clearly like cut, like it's a very shallow cut. But it's a head wound, and head wounds bleed a lot. So yeah, but in an attempt to get the swelling down, we were using ice packs on his head, and he's better, feels better now. He's asleep finally for the night because it's like almost 11 p.m. But he's down for the night, he's doing fine. But I figured I would go ahead and tell you guys what that was about, since, you know, you just got a picture of an injured kid and that was it. So that is all I have to tell you guys now. I am going to go ahead and listen to some music on my Echo, and I am going to continue to read 7 Days of You. So I will check back in with you guys probably in the morning after I do some more reading. So I'll see you guys then. Good morning, BookTube. So it is now like 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday, which I believe is the last day of this readathon. So I need to double check, but I have 2 books that I technically need to read to complete all of the challenges I decided to set for this readathon. That's not going to happen, but I'm going to try and get as much done as I possibly can. And so I had initially planned to read the seven Days of You for my challenge to read a new to you author, and this is taking me a lot longer to read than I thought it was going to. So I decided that I'm going to switch this out for an audiobook. And so I decided that since I'm going to switch it out for audiobook, I have decided I'm going to read Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. I know that Julie Kagawa is a very popular author, but I have never read a book by her before. So I'm going to read this one. This was an Owl Crate book that I got, obviously in an Owl Crate. So it is signed. It is got a bunch of stuff in it, but this is a book that I've been wanting to read. It sounds really interesting, and I've never read Julie Kagawa before, so I'm probably going to read this audiobook today, listen to this, and follow along in this as I go. So that's probably what I'm going to do today, and see if I can get this book finished today. I'm not going to get to Pivot Point, which is not a big deal because I have already read that book, but if I can get to this, then I will have completed all but one challenge. Well, I guess 2 challenges because I didn't read the group book either. But that is my plan, is to hopefully get through this entire book today. So we'll see how it goes. And so with all that, my son has requested that we cuddle on the couch. And how can you say no to that? So I'm going to go ahead and go cuddle with him while we watch a movie or something. And I will see you guys in a little while. Hey guys, so it is now February 5th. And I am editing my Biannual Bibliothon vlog and realized I never filmed an outro or a wrap-up clip for this vlog. So that's what we're doing now. We're just gonna go ahead and wrap up. So the last clip I said I was going to attempt to read Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. I did not read anything at all the last day of the readathon. Absolutely nothing. I think I read like the first chapter of that book and it was interesting. I just wasn't in the mood for reading. I think I kind of burnt myself out a little bit. So I just decided not to read anything else. So the readathon ended. I did not complete all the challenges. That's not a big deal, but I did have a lot of fun. And so let's really quickly wrap up what all I read. I ended up reading And of Windy Poplars by Ellen Montgomery. This book I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read Lily's Crossing, which I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. And then now looking at my GoodReads, I realized that I lied. I did actually read another book. It just didn't fit any challenges. I just wanted to read it. So instead of reading Shadow of the Fox or any other book that fit a challenge, I instead read Just Like Heaven by Julia Quinn. I think I read this entire book that day and I really loved it. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. So yeah, that's what I read. I completely forgot that I read Just Like Heaven during this readathon. But yeah, I tried to read Shadow of the Fox and I just wasn't getting into it, and I really wanted to read a historical romance, so I decided, forget it, I'll just do what I want. So I did. Yeah, so that is all that I have for this video today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. And I am currently doing the booktube games, and so I'm going to try and have weekly vlogs up for that. I am on Team Camp Half-Blood. My TBR has already been posted for the month because it's real late in the game to be posting this video, but that's okay. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.